Hello and welcome or welcome back to Soul Shine Den. Welcome in. Come on and get cozy. So this is we're at day 7. We're ending our first week of uninspired, the event for healers, empaths, earth angels, the kind-hearted, tender-hearted ones who are here to bring more love and joy and God's work basically here. So thank you for being here. We're working together so that you have more courage and confidence in being who you are and bringing your gifts out into the world in a way that is fulfilling to your soul. So yeah, come on in. We're just gonna cleanse our space, call in angels and allies, just purify and call in protection, guidance. Smells so good. Thank you, cinnamon. Okay, so in terms of materials, we just need a loose paper and some markers, some water-soluble pencils or markers if you have them, or some watercolors and gouache, paintbrush and water, and then whatever else you want to bring. So we're just going to start with our paper. I'm going to fold it in half. Fold it in half again. Just want to invite you to celebrate yourself and honor the fact that you're here, that you are doing this work. You're making this time for yourself to know yourself better maybe, or make space for more of yourself to be expressed. That you're making this intention to be more expansive, and so thank you. All right, so you just want to fold it so you have four sections, and then we're going to label each section. Okay, so I'll show you. It's going to be mind, body, heart, soul. At the top edge of each section. So in today's topic, we're looking at comparison. Comparing yourself or your work or your results with other people. And so before we get into that, let's make our face. So this is the part where we're going to add a face with like shoulders and neck, shoulders. And so you don't have to draw, you don't have to know how to draw or anything. I'm going to do a one line face. It's supposed to look off and silly, and we're just letting go of any need to, for it to look, perfect or a certain way. But if you don't want to do a one line, you can do it however you want to. Oh, okay. Sometimes I'm just really like, oh, let's see what's going to happen. Let's see, trying to show if you want to watch along, or you can just do your own thing. Good stuff. then once you get it, you can, add a little bit more to it if you want to reshape it in some way. You add hair, for example, if you want to do that, or add more to the eyes, or straighten out the nose. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is write in these 4 sections. And the invitation is to think about where do you notice, or if you do notice that you're comparing yourself or your work to other people. And so sometimes with these different topics, there may be a part of us that wants to deny that it's happening, that that we're above it, or we've learned beyond it, or we know better. Sometimes that can happen. That there may be a part of us that's like, no, that one's not for me. Especially if you think that, and it could totally be, but it's just an invitation to like drop the information from the mind and maybe the ego, and then dropping down into the body and asking for the information to be guided from a deeper wisdom. So because the ego can be, especially if feels challenged, it can feel defensive and want to prove, especially if you've done a lot of healing work and maybe on a rational level you know better, but we don't always operate in that way. There are these, we have all these different parts, and so this is a time to tune in to any part of you that may feel less than, or feel some kind of way. When you look at someone else who's doing what you want to do, and you haven't made it yourself, or it hasn't happened for you yet, or whatever you want to say. And it could be whether it's like in the form of maybe your work or success, or it could be expressing yourself. You compare yourself to someone else who is more bold, or more expressed, more confident, and so we're just looking at someone that you may compare, or that stands out to you as doing something that you would really like to do, or know, or be able to bring about for yourself. And how does that feel? And just listening to your wisdom and what it wants to share with you. So being very kind to yourself, and as you explore this. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot. So I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And you're just going to purge, just write what's true. Whatever comes through, whether it's nice, but maybe don't try to be nice. Maybe just, whatever's true. But I guess what I'm trying to say is whether it's positive and encouraging or whether it's, more negative, I guess you'd say. So we're going to do 5 minutes writing in these 4 sections, and if you need more time, pause it, okay? And you can switch up colors if you want in each section as well. Okay, 5 minutes. If this is bringing up something you want to do some tapping, remember just to breathe as you're writing. seconds. Okay, we'll stop there. And so this next piece is about integrating these and aligning these different parts of these messages in the mind, body, heart, soul, and bringing them all into the same conversation. So beyond comparing yourself to other people, you know, because the truth is, I think there's a couple things I want to say about that. Sometimes when we notice things in other people, it's actually a message for ourselves that there is something in us that we haven't discovered yet. They can be reflecting back to us something that some thread of it that we already have that wants to be nurtured or wants to be expressed or fulfilled. And so when we feel some kind of way, when someone else is, is reflecting that, it's actually something that already exists in us. It may not be to the fullest degree, but there's something there that I think is a call to sort of remember that you are that too, that you have that potential too, or that is something that is important to you. Another thing that came through for me was that no one can compare to you. You know, that's something to remember, that you are your own special, star person, that remembering that, like how extraordinary that you are. And when you compare yourself to other people, just using that as information of how, of what you really want and who you are already. And that to remember that whatever you're seeing in that other person, you don't know the full story of what they went through or how they did it, or sometimes we're comparing our beginning with someone else's middle or end, and so it's not really a true comparison. But yeah, so I just want to mention that. So now we're going to use our water and blend, just sort of breathing and blending and these words together, maybe some, smearing them together, or you can also add some color. If you have watercolors, you can add any colors that are showing, that's standing out for you that you want to add. And just letting this all feel aligned and calling in any wisdom that wants to come through. Breathing. Well, there it goes. Dip. Okay, Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is looking at your image. Are there any words that you want to add? Any symbols or messages, affirmations, or words that sort of shift this idea of comparing and feeling either superior or inferior to somebody else? Because either way is out of balance. They both have information, so it's not about shaming or feeling bad about it. Receive the information, and then what is the wisdom to come from that? So feeling like sometimes you can see, for example, you can see someone else at a certain level maybe succeed or something like that. But then you look at yourself and you think, well, I can do that, or I'm better. I see my skills as better than that. Then you can use that information, and it's not that you're, necessarily thinking less of the other person. It's just that there's a part of you that's like, yeah, come on, let's go. Like that's evidence that you're ready. You can bring your, gifts out or whatever it is, your art, whatever it may be, because, this person is showing you what's possible. And so you can use that information to take that leap, without making it about you're better or they're less, but just the information of, I feel like I can, if they're doing this way, and I know I would do it this way, and this would probably be more effective, or whatever it may be, then that's just information for you to do your thing, right? Okay, so we're adding any symbols or words that you want. So it could be to the hair, to the face, to the chest, whatever wants to. Just ask, what wants to be next, what wants to be next, what wants to be added. Tell what color that is. Okay. So once you feel like that's complete, we're going to add a prayer. And with the prayer, it's really anything that you need, that you identify that you need, or you want support in. If there's something you want to heal or you want to see more clearly, any sort of request or prayer that you have, then you can write that anywhere on your paper. It can be just simply, please guide me. Free me, anything you need. Okay, let's see. The next thing we're going to do is looking at your image. You're just going to ask for a message. So connecting to your heart, your higher self, and the image. Not trying to censor it or force it or anything, but just tuning in to receive, through your intuition, what message is coming through. Okay. So here's mine. All right. So thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work. We're week 1 down. Yay! So next week we're going to start with self-criticism. So if you have an inner critic, be sure and show up for that one. And thank you again. Please share this if you know someone who this could benefit, or you think they might be interested. And also let me know what you've been, how this has been going for you. If you've gotten anything out of it, I'd love to know. Thank you again, and hope to see you on the next one.